So this is a fried boiled egg, and as its name suggests, it is an egg that have been boiled and fried. But why do we add another step to something as simple as a boiled egg, you may ask? Well, in front of me, I have two eggs. One is a regular boiled egg, and the other is a fried boiled egg. And I will dip both of them into some dark soy sauce for a couple of seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you can see, while the regular boiled egg is stained dark because of the soy sauce, but there's barely any of the sauce sticking on it. And while on the other hand, you can see splotches of the sauce sticking on the nooks and crannies that is formed from the process of frying. Now that I got your attention, how do you even make a fried boiled eggs anyway? So first, you are going to need to boil some eggs. While traditionally, the eggs are hard boiled, but personally, I still want my egg to have a runny yolk. So, I will only cook my eggs for around 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Oops, orientation. There it is. Now that the timer is up, I'm going to pull my eggs out of the water and dunk it into a bowl of ice water. This will not only stop the cooking process, thus protecting the yolk from cooking any further, but also it will make the eggs easier to peel. Let it soak for around 2 to 5 minutes, and then it is time to peel. So there is this one trick that I like to use when peeling my boiled eggs, and that is by using a plastic spoon. To do it, first you need to crack your eggs and peel it with your fingers just like usual. When you have a big enough opening for your plastic spoon, you can try to continue peeling the egg by shimming your spoon in between the shell and the eggs, just like using a shoehorn. And a couple of notes, if you are handling a 6-minute eggs, you might want to be super careful with it, because the white part can be super soft and can easily be broken. And also, the thinner and the more flexible your plastic spoon are, the better it is. Now that the eggs are peeled, it is time to fry. I have my wok on high heat, filled with some oil to at least high enough to submerge half of the eggs. And while deep frying it will yield a better result, but who want to deal with that much oil anyway? Also, I never really measure the temperature myself, but you want it to be really hot but not smoking, so maybe around 190 to 200 Celsius or 370 to 390 Fahrenheit. And one more important thing before frying, please be super careful, especially if you choose to deep fry your eggs. The white part of the egg is like 88% water, and it will make your oil bubble up like crazy. So don't ever overfill your pan with hot oil. And you also don't want to overcrowd your pan with eggs, because if it doesn't have enough space to wiggle around while cooking, there might be not enough space for the steam to escape, and that steam will be stuck gathering pressure, and when it have enough, it will burst up and you will have hot oil splattering around everywhere, and there will be so much pain. I learned it the hard way, so you don't have to. Okay, let's continue frying the eggs. Slowly put your eggs into the hot oil, and remember, be respectful to the hot oil, but don't be afraid. They can smell your fear. Things can get so much worse if you panic. When the eggs is in, you need to fry your eggs for around 1 to 2 minutes. Flip it around occasionally until it got even browning. When your eggs are fully brown, take it out from the oil and plunge it into a bowl of cold water again. This is another step that is totally not traditional, but if you want your eggs to have a runny yolk, this will help stop the carryover heat to reach the yolk. Oh yeah, you shouldn't let your eggs soak for too long, because while it doesn't seem like it, boiled eggs are surprisingly porous, and if you keep it for too long, the white part can taste kind of watery. So just let it soak for 5 minutes top. Now that the eggs is ready, let's prepare our sauce, shall we? And the first sauce I'm going to show is the classic balado sauce. And to make the balado sauce, you will need some garlic and red peppers. And I actually prefer for this sauce to be not too spicy, so I'll choose to use a mild pepper that have been deseeded. Put it in a food processor, add in a couple of tablespoons of oil, and blend it smooth. Now to make the sauce, I put my wok on a medium heat, add a tablespoon of oil, and I'll put in my aromatic mix with a stick of lemongrass and 2 pieces of kaffir lime leaf. If kaffir lime leaf is hard for you to source locally, you can always just use a kaffir lime leaf zest or maybe just a zest of a regular lime. You want to cook it until it starts to release its aroma, and when the color turns a bit darker, add some water and season it with some salt, sugar, and a little bit of MSG if you want. After you put in your seasoning, give it a good mix, and you should taste it by now, but I forgot to do that. So do what I say and not what I do. And you want the flavor of your sauce to be really powerful because it will need to flavor all of your eggs. Now that the sauce is ready, add in your eggs and cook it for another 1 or 2 minutes. And you can always add a little bit more water if your sauce gets too dry. And your balado eggs is ready. The other sauce that I want to show you is the sweet soy sauce, and for that, you will need some garlic and scallion. The scallion should be twice the amount of the garlic, and of course, you can always substitute it with some onion if you want. For this dish, you don't really need to use a food processor. Mincing it is totally fine, but I already have mine out, so I'm going to use it anyway. Put a couple of tablespoons of oil in, and blend it smooth. And to cook it, wok on a medium heat. Add in your aromatic mix, a tiny piece of crushed ginger and a couple slices of red peppers, and cook it until it starts to release its aroma. When it became aromatic, then I'm going to put in a third of a teaspoon of Chinese 5 spice. If you don't have one on hand, you want to at least have some cinnamon and star anise. Then add some water. If you have some dried spot on your pan, you can always use the water to deglaze it just to make sure nothing got burned. And then it is time for seasoning. A generous amount of sweet soy sauce, some regular soy sauce, and a little bit of MSG. If you don't have a sweet soy sauce on hand, you can always substitute it with a mixture of dark soy sauce and palm or brown sugar. Put in your eggs, give it a taste, and I think it needs some more sweetness and salt, so I'm going to add in some more sweet soy sauce and regular soy sauce. Yep, that's better. Add a little bit of starch slurry to thicken it. You can just use any starch you have. Cook it for another minute, and your sweet soy egg is ready. There you have it, the boiled fried eggs with the classic balado sauce and sweet soy sauce, but this time with a beautiful runny yolk. Oh yeah, also one more thing. These eggs can last for surprisingly long if stored properly, at least 1 week or so. And this one I got right here is exactly 1 week old. And let me show you something. Spending that 1 week inside of the salty and sweet sauce turned the yolk from runny and bright to jammy and dark orange. And the process should be similar to what happened when you make ramen eggs. The egg did not only absorb the salt and sugar from the sauce, but also all of the flavor. And honestly, it tastes just amazing.